They were talking about me to their parents and they would start crying, or they would be with me and then we'd all just start crying, and people were asking my parents if everything was okay with me, like what was going on with my health. And I felt like my life was over at the time and that type of thing. So it was a really tough time for not only me, but also my friends and family watching me go through so much pain.
What's going on, guys? My name is Sam.
I'm Sadie.
So in today's video, we're going to talk about a subject that's a really personal one. Sadie went through a really bad breakup back in 2019. And while I was not there, I was not in the picture, I've heard enough about her story to where I'm going to be able to kind of help her get through kind of telling her story. And, you know, maybe you guys can learn from the experiences that she went through and apply it to your own lives.
I just don't want people to, I guess, discount my story just because I'm married. I definitely understand the feeling of singleness and how hard that can be. And just the feeling of helplessness and the fear of never getting married and all of those things.
My old content, I did make a lot of singleness videos. I feel kind of disqualified to talk about that as much anymore because it is such a subject with so much hurt behind it. So many people that comment in my videos are legitimately bitter that they find themselves in these situations where they're still single. And you have to recognize that every single person that is married, almost without fail, had to go through a really difficult time before they found their person. And I think that God designs it that way on purpose. I don't know, do you feel like you'd be the same person that you are today without going through
definitely
that?
Not, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we will get into that. So how did you feel immediately after this breakup? If you want to give them kind of a little bit of background just about that relationship, maybe like how old were you when you were in it? You know, what kind of stage of life you were at?
When I was in the relationship, I think that I was 17 when it started and 19 when it ended, I believe. 2019 is when the breakup happened, and I felt like my life was over at the time, even though, like, when you get to the other side of a breakup or a hard time, you can see why you went through all of those things. But at the time, I really did feel like I was in a tunnel and that I would never escape it. Like, it felt like I was going through a dark tunnel, and the end of it would continue to extend and extend and extend, and I was just never getting out of that hard time. Right after the breakup happened, I had a really hard time eating because I was so heartbroken at the time, and I ended up losing, I think, 10 pounds in a week. And I'm already a very like tall and skinny person, and so the 10 pounds really showed very quickly, and people were asking my parents if everything was okay with me, like what was going on with my health and that type of thing, and my family was really concerned about me as well. And I remember my dad telling me that if I didn't get a handle on things, like I was gonna have to go to the hospital and everything. And I think that one day before I took a shower, I looked in the mirror and I saw like a lot of bones. I saw my hip bones, I saw a lot that was not there a few weeks prior. And I think at that point I was like, okay, we have a very big problem that we have to deal with our weight. Like, this is a serious issue. At the time, I felt really hopeless and that I just would never get out of it. I legitimately was in so much pain that my friends were crying for me. I remember them telling me that they were talking about me to their parents and they would start crying, or they would be with me and then we'd all just start crying and that type of thing. So it was a really tough time for not only me, but also my friends and family watching me go through so much pain.
I was just gonna ask, how did you feel towards God at that time? Did you feel angry towards him? Did you feel just like, you know, God, where are you? Or did you have peace about it? Like, what were the feelings that you had initially?
I knew that the relationship I was in was not the one that God wanted me to be in, and I was in denial of that while I was in the relationship. I just wasn't at a good enough place in my relationship with God to have faith enough to end it, if that makes sense. I wouldn't say it was an anger towards God. I just felt like he had like abandoned me. I felt because of my health and it was just not in a good place, I was just asking God, like, why, like, where are you? I just feel like in Psalms when David is just talking, like, Lord, where are you? And just how depressed and how anxious and how sad he was in some of the Psalms, I really could
soaking
understand.
his bed in tears, his couch, bed, whatever.
Yeah. I was truly like heartbroken for such a long time, because I really did feel like I was going to be single forever and that I had no value at all. I was going through a breakup the same time my best friend was getting married and all these things were going right for her, and it felt like for me everything was like I was taking a step back while everyone else was taking a step forward, and that was really, really tough. And it just caused me to ask God, just why is this happening to me? And it really was a tough time.
If someone had told you, of course, back then, hey, in a few years, you're going to be in the same exact position that your best friend is in, you're going to be getting married, hopefully I'm a pretty good prize for you at the end of the few years of waiting. But if you had known that I was around the corner, it wouldn't have been such a big deal because you would have known, hey, this is what God is doing. And it's not even necessarily that the previous, person that you were with, that you were so like heartbroken that like, oh my goodness, I lose this person. It's just, like you said, that reflection of your own self-worth, feeling like, man, like, am I not even worth, how much am I worth if this person just says, oh, well, I can deal with living the rest of my life without you.
It wasn't even that for me. I could deal if a person said, I think we should like part ways or whatever. It was kind of the way that it happened. I just felt like the person did not care about me at all the way that it happened, and so that made me question what on earth is wrong with me. Like, was I really that like meaningless?
At the end of the day, it was because God had way better for her.
If you know what's at the end of your tunnel, the end of your dark tunnel, you may miss out on a lot of opportunities to grow. Right after the breakup, if I would have known, okay, well, I'm going to meet my future husband in 3 years, I would have learned less lessons that way.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been forced to grow.
Yeah, that pain completely transformed me as a person. I've heard so many people say that from 2019 to now, I am a completely different person in my health, in my personality, just how outgoing I am now and that type of thing. So if you are going through a breakup or you are going through singleness, really use that opportunity to grow and just transform yourself for the better and let God transform you, because it will really, really pay off. And you will look back, I promise you, you will look back and you will see God's hand in all of it. You will see why everything happened, and you will be able to be so thankful. Even though singleness had a lot of downs for me, it also had a lot of ups for me, because I look back on my singleness and I love it. Not that I don't love marriage, but I just had so much time to spend with the Lord, with my friends, with my family, and just really enjoy that time. Just cherish every single second of your singleness. I promise you it's going to be over in the blink of an eye if God has someone for you. But just enjoy every single season of your life, because they all pass so quickly. Okay, so this is from a journal that I kept during my singleness and during a really, really dark time of my life. So yeah, I'm just going to read a journal entry, and it may be cringy, but I'm very sorry.
I think it'll be really nice.
Okay. Dear past Sadie, you are okay. Life has moved on. The Lord has been so faithful since 2019 and will continue being faithful forever. The breakup was genuinely the best thing that could have happened to you. Your brokenness has been healed and has grown you in so many ways. It's almost been 2 years of becoming more outgoing, more full of life, growing closer to friends, and most importantly, growing and loving Jesus Christ even deeper. Jesus is all you need. Remember that you have so much worth and where that worth comes from. The dark tunnel you thought you'd never escape, you're out of it. Life is beautiful. Never forget it. Be proud of yourself. You deserve a little pat on the back sometimes.
and just
Sure.
replace the name of Sadie with whatever your name is.
Yes.
And it's perfectly applicable to you.
Yes, it will be okay. I promise you.
And if you guys want to hear the rest of the story of how me and Sadie met, a little shameless plug, we released our very first video was how God wrote our love story. And that will kind of tell you guys about how me and Sadie met and about all the crazy circumstances with that. We actually met on the platform that you're watching this video on. Do you have anything more that the wonderful audience can learn from your story? Any closing remarks?
Whether you're single because you've had a breakup, or you've just never been in a relationship, or you feel like you will never be in a relationship, or whatever the case may be on why you are single, I promise you there's purpose for it. There's purpose for your pain. There's purpose for your waiting. Just use this opportunity to grow yourself, grow your relationship with the Lord, and just try your best to learn how to be content in the season of singleness. And when you become content, I think God may answer your prayer. He has different plans for everyone, but just don't compare the timeline of your friends' lives, your family's life with yours, because everybody is not cookie cutter. It's not identical. So if your friend got married at 18 and you're now 25 and you're single, it is okay. There's nothing wrong with you. God has different timelines, different stories for us all. Trust that God knows what He's doing, because I promise you He knows what He's doing. And just understand that there is purpose for the waiting.
Even though this channel is a dating and relationships channel based off of our Christian faith, remember that relationships are not the number one most important thing. You can live a beautiful and amazing, wonderful life. In fact, Paul says that it's even better if you can not be married, if you don't desire that so strongly that it just consumes you. Obviously, if you really, really desire it, I think that God has it for you. But if not, have peace. You'll be able to get a lot of stuff done, and you'll be able to have a lot of fun. So remember that the relationship with the Lord, that is the number one thing. Finding a spouse, it's wonderful, but it's not the number one priority. Your walk with Christ is. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and just leave a like. Maybe leave some advice if you want to help some other people, or just let us know if this video helped you. It really helps this video and all the other videos on our channel get out to more people that might need this kind of advice and help. But anyway, guys, we will see you next week.
See you next week.